Unlike you, I'm not a firearms expert to the same extent as you may be, but we have people at ATF who can talk about
The ATF has always been at the center of several controversial decisions that have put gun owners on edge, from their failed attempt to ban bump stocks to their ruling on binary triggers, and just recently, their new pistol brace rule that they released last January 13th. The ATF has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But we learned something about the ATF that, what we think, takes the cake for being the most pathetic yet. A recent Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, request made by the Gun Owners Foundation and AmmoLand.com has revealed that the ATF has determined a tiny sliver of metal to be an illegal post-86 banned machine gun. Yes, you heard it right. A sliver of metal that could easily be mistaken for debris is now viewed as a machine gun by the ATF. The FOIA also uncovered a criminal examination letter from ATF's Firearm and Ammunition Technology Division, or FATD, that examined a Noveske N4 AR-15 equipped with a Franklin Armory BFS-3 binary trigger. The examination found that a fingernail-sized piece of metal and a worn disconnector could cause the trigger to fire multiple rounds with a single function of the trigger, which the ATF deemed to be an automatic weapon. This decision has raised countless eyebrows among gun owners and pro-Second Amendment advocates. This is just another example of the ATF's overreach and apparent lack of common sense when it comes to firearms regulation. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this topic and discuss the implications of this latest revelation from the ATF. Have you ever engaged in some target practice at the range, blowing up microwaves or old laundry machines packed with tannerite? If so, you might have some range trash lying around. But what if I told you that the ATF might see that trash as something else entirely? In recent years, the ATF has been making headlines for their controversial decisions and overreach in the area of firearms regulation. We don't need to go over all the instances where they've proven how good they are at what they do. Just try counting the number of times they've flip-flopped on how they define the NFA. The latest revelation from the ATF is a testament to their stupidity and incompetence when it comes to firearm regulation. The Bureau's agents seem to view almost anything as a machine gun, including range trash that could easily be mistaken for debris. This has raised serious concerns among gun owners and pro-Second Amendment advocates. So, if you have some range trash lying around, you might want to be extra careful. The ATF's recent decision has shown that they are willing to push the boundaries of what can be considered a machine gun, even if it means charging law-abiding citizens with a felony and landing them in jail for up to 10 years. Stay tuned as we explore this issue further and discuss the implications of the ATF's latest stupidity. As reported on by AmmoLand.com last April 14th, the ATF made a controversial ruling back in August of 2017 where they deemed that a minuscule piece of metal is an illegal post-86 banned machine gun. This has led to endless double-face palms in the gun community. It just boggles the mind how the ATF can look at a tiny sliver of metal as any kind of weapon, much less a machine gun. As a result of that Freedom of Information Act request, a criminal examination letter from the ATF's Firearm and Ammunition Technology Division was uncovered. This letter revealed that a Noveske N4 AR-15 equipped with a Franklin Armory BFS-3 binary trigger was examined by the ATF. During the examination, it was discovered that a fingernail-sized piece of metal, along with a worn disconnector, could cause the trigger to fire multiple rounds with a single function of the trigger. The FATD deemed this to be an automatic weapon, thus making it an illegal post-86 banned machine gun. This ruling has sparked outrage among gun owners and pro-Second Amendment advocates who feel that the ATF's decision is a clear example of how tone-deaf these people are. Before we delve into the details of this topic, it's important to clarify some technical terms for those who may not be familiar. A binary trigger is a specialized device designed to enable a shooter to discharge one round upon pulling the trigger and another upon releasing it. In simpler terms, this mechanism essentially allows for semi-automatic firearms to function in a manner similar to that of a fully automatic weapon. The device is designed to facilitate rapid-fire shooting, making it an attractive option for many gun enthusiasts. For those who are unfamiliar with binary triggers, don't worry. We'll walk you through precisely how they work. By the end of this section, you'll have a clear understanding of this unique device and the potential implications of the ATF's ruling regarding their classification. It's worth noting that binary triggers have become a controversial topic in recent years as the ATF has issued rulings on their legality and classification as machine guns. As we continue to explore this topic, it's important to keep in mind the potential impact that these decisions could have on gun owners and the ATF's countless attempts to infringe on our Second Amendment rights. So, what is a binary trigger? Well, it's a specialized device designed to enable a shooter to discharge one round upon pulling the trigger and another upon releasing it. It works by utilizing a two-step process. First, the shooter pulls the trigger, which releases the hammer and discharges the first round. Then, upon releasing the trigger, the seer engages the trigger assembly again, releasing the hammer and firing another round. This trigger mechanism makes it so that instead of firing a single round every time you pull and reset the trigger, you fire 2 rounds. Thus, a binary trigger essentially doubles your firing rate. The ATF's definition of a machine gun is any firearm that fires multiple rounds with a single function of the trigger. So, if we follow the ATF's logic, binary triggers should not be classified as machine guns and should be treated similarly to bump stocks. Now, there was this criminal examination letter recently requested by the ATF Sacramento field office from the Firearm and Ammunition Technology Division that shows that a small piece of metal and a worn disconnector on a Franklin Armory BFS-3 trigger can result in a malfunction called hammer follow, which causes the trigger to discharge multiple rounds with a single trigger function. Despite the malfunction being caused by a mechanical issue and not an intentional modification by the owner, the ATF determined that the firearm was firing automatically and therefore classified it as a machine gun. As a result, the gun owner was found to be in violation of the National Firearms Act of 1934, a law that is outdated and unconstitutional. Following this discovery, the ATF examiner proceeded to disassemble the firearm, separating the upper and lower components before removing the fragment of scrap metal. The rifle was then tested again, and this time it functioned correctly. Upon pulling the trigger, a single round was discharged, followed by another single round when the trigger was released. According to the ATF, the small sliver of metal and disconnector found in the trigger assembly were deemed to be the equivalent of a drop-in auto-sear, which is a device that can convert semi-automatic firearms into automatic weapons. As a result, the gun owner could face a federal penalty of 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. This potential penalty is the result of an accidental modification caused by a piece of debris, and again, the gun owner didn't do any modifications. So yeah, it just shows how severely lacking the ATF's leadership is in the brains department. According to the ATF, the category of items that could be classified as machine guns is continually expanding. This includes 3D printed Yankee Boogles, auto-sears, and lightning lanes. In the particular case at hand, the presence of any foreign object that interferes with the disconnector and binary trigger mechanism could potentially result in the firearm being classified as a machine gun. This could include something as seemingly insignificant as a spent primer or a small metal shaving from the gun. So, why is this important? Because, as responsible gun owners, we now have to make sure that our firearms are always meticulously cleaned to avoid any NFA violations. A piece of debris stuck in a binary trigger can result in us facing felony charges and up to 10 years in federal prison. While a malfunction like a hammer follow can be dangerous, it's simply unjust, if not foolish, to penalize the gun owner for something outside of their control. Comparing this scenario to charging a driver for speeding due to a stuck accelerator or charging a pilot for murder resulting from a mechanical failure highlights the absurdity of punishing someone for a mechanical malfunction. The gun owner cannot be held responsible for their firearm functioning as a machine gun when it was not designed to do so. The malfunction is a result of a mechanical failure that could not have been predicted or prevented. As Forrest Gump so eloquently put it,
"Stupid is as stupid does."
Stupid is as stupid does. I just can't find a better way to describe the higher-ups over at the ATF. And regrettably, that's all the time we have for today. If you care about your Second Amendment rights, please smash that like button, share this video with your family and friends so that they too can poke fun at the ATF's brightest, and tap that notification bell too while you're at it. Thanks and have a good one.